Ladies and gentlemen, all right, listen up, because this is real talk. Have you ever had that weird feeling, that tiny alarm bell ringing in your gut when you're around someone, like something about them just ain't right, but you can't put your finger on it? What if I told you that feeling is your most powerful tool, warning you about an evil person lurking close to you? Not everyone who smiles in your face has good intentions, and some people are experts at hiding their true colors until it's too late. Today, I'm about to break down the 10 clear, undeniable signs that there's a toxic evil person right beside you, someone who could steal your peace, your happiness, and maybe even your future. Stick with me, because this knowledge can save you from heartbreak, betrayal, and regret. You don't want to miss this. One of the clearest signs that you have an evil person near you is that they constantly manipulate you. Manipulation is their favorite game, and they play it so well that sometimes you don't even realize it's happening. It's like a slow poison. By the time you notice, you're already tangled in their web. Manipulators don't just want to influence your decisions, they want total control over your emotions, thoughts, and actions. They do this by twisting facts, bending the truth, and playing on your feelings to get what they want. When you speak, they might take your words out of context and use them against you later. Imagine telling someone something honest or vulnerable, and instead of understanding, they turn it around to make you feel guilty or wrong. This is a classic trick. They make you question your own memory and your perception of reality. You start doubting yourself, wondering if you really said or did something wrong. This confusion is exactly what they want. It weakens your confidence and makes you easier to control. Guilt is another tool they wield like a weapon. If you resist their demands or stand up for yourself, they make you feel like you're the bad person. They might say things like, "After everything I've done for you, this is how you repay me," or "If you cared about me, you wouldn't act like that." These statements hit deep because most of the time they sound reasonable, but really they're designed to make you apologize, back down, and give in. You start carrying the weight of their mistakes and bad behavior as if it's your responsibility to fix or tolerate it all. Manipulators also know how to use your fears and insecurities against you. They watch closely for your weak spots, those parts of you that feel vulnerable, and then they poke at them until you break. If you have self-doubt about your worth, they will remind you, subtly or not, that you're lucky to have them or that no one else would want you. This slowly chips away at your self-esteem and traps you in their control. You might find yourself staying silent or accepting mistreatment just because you think you don't deserve better. One of the sneakiest forms of manipulation is when they act like the victim. If you ever try to call them out or set boundaries, they flip the script and make themselves the one who's been wronged. Suddenly, you're the person who's being mean or unreasonable. This tactic makes you second-guess yourself and feel guilty for standing up. It confuses everyone around you too, because on the surface, they can act so charming and innocent that others don't believe you. This isolation is part of their plan to keep you trapped. Manipulators also create dependency. They might do favors or be overly kind at first, so you feel obligated or grateful. Then they slowly raise their demands or expectations, and you feel stuck trying to repay them. It's like a loan you can never pay off. They make you feel like you need them, that life without them would be impossible or worse. But in reality, this dependency is a cage they've built around you, keeping you from seeing your own strength or seeking help. The emotional roller coaster they create is exhausting. One moment they're sweet and supportive, and the next they're cold or critical. This unpredictable behavior keeps you on edge, always trying to please them to avoid the next storm. You become hyper aware of their moods, constantly adjusting yourself to keep the peace. Over time, this drains your energy and steals your joy. You lose sight of who you are because you're so focused on managing their feelings and reactions. The worst part about dealing with this manipulation is that it wears down your mental and emotional health. You might feel anxious, depressed, or confused without knowing why. You blame yourself for not being strong enough or smart enough to handle the situation. But here's the truth. Manipulation is about control, not your weakness. The person manipulating you is choosing to play mind games. They're responsible, not you. The good news is once you recognize these patterns, you can start to take back control. Awareness is the first step. When you understand that someone is manipulating you, you stop taking their tricks personally. You learn to trust your own judgment again and set healthy boundaries. You can decide when to say no, when to walk away, and when to protect your peace. It's not easy, especially if this person has been in your life a long time, but it's possible. Remember, manipulation thrives in silence and confusion. Speaking up, seeking support from trusted friends or professionals, and learning about healthy relationships will give you the tools to break free. You deserve respect and honesty, not control and deceit. Don't let anyone make you doubt your worth or twist your reality. Take back your power and watch how your life changes when you refuse to be manipulated any longer. Another unmistakable sign that an evil person is close to you is their habit of constant lying and deceit. This isn't just about the occasional white lie or harmless exaggeration. This is a pattern, a lifestyle, and a weapon they use to control and confuse those around them. When someone lies constantly, it's not just dishonest behavior. It's a way to shape reality to their advantage, to hide their true intentions, and to keep you off balance. Lying for these people isn't about avoiding trouble or protecting feelings. No, it's far more calculated than that. It's about power. By twisting the truth, they create a false story that benefits them, while you're left struggling to figure out what's real and what's not. This creates a fog that blinds you to their real motives and makes you question your own judgment. When you can't trust the facts, you lose your footing, and that's exactly where an evil person wants you. The lies can be small or big. They might deny things they clearly said or did just moments before, leaving you confused and doubting your memory. They might make promises they never intend to keep, only to watch you wait and hope for something that will never come. These lies slowly erode your trust, and without trust, no relationship can survive. But what makes this so dangerous is how they mix truth and lies, making it almost impossible to spot the deception. Sometimes they tell lies to make themselves look better, exaggerating their achievements, pretending to be someone they're not, or blaming others for their mistakes. This is done to build a false image that attracts people to them while hiding their selfish or harmful nature. They want you to believe they are trustworthy, kind, or successful so that you let your guard down. But underneath the mask is a person who will use any trick to get what they want. One of the cruelest uses of lying is to manipulate your emotions. They may say hurtful things, but later deny it, leaving you to question if it really happened or if you're just being too sensitive. This tactic, often called gaslighting, is designed to make you doubt your own reality and feel crazy or insecure. When you question your own feelings and memories, you become easier to control because you lose confidence in yourself. Another way they use lies is to create division. They might spread false rumors about people you care about, trying to turn you against your friends or family. By isolating you, they gain more control and reduce the chance that others will help you see the truth. It's a sneaky way to weaken your support system, so you become more dependent on them, even if they're the source of your pain. Evil people also use lies to avoid accountability. When confronted with their wrongdoings, they deny everything, accuse you of being paranoid, or blame you for misunderstanding. This not only protects them from facing consequences, but also wears you down emotionally. Over time, you might stop standing up for yourself because you feel like you're always the one at fault. Living with someone who lies constantly can be exhausting. You become hypervigilant, trying to catch inconsistencies or prove the truth. This takes a toll on your mental health and your peace of mind. You might start feeling anxious, mistrustful, and emotionally drained, which affects other areas of your life like work, friendships, and your overall happiness. But here's the truth. You don't have to live like this. Recognizing that you're dealing with a compulsive liar is the first step toward freedom. Once you see the pattern clearly, you can stop wasting your energy trying to change them or uncover the truth behind every story. Instead, focus on protecting yourself. Set clear boundaries and decide what you will and won't tolerate. It's also important to build your own support system, people who you trust and who can offer honest perspectives. Talking to others helps you stay grounded and reminds you that you're not imagining things. Remember, your feelings and observations are valid, even when a liar tries to convince you otherwise. In some cases, you may need to distance yourself from the person to protect your mental and emotional well-being. That can be hard, especially if they are close family, friends, or coworkers, but your peace is worth it. You deserve relationships built on truth, respect, and trust, not on lies and deception. Ultimately, refusing to accept lies and deceit is a powerful way to reclaim your power. When you no longer fall for the false stories, you take back control over your life and emotions. You become stronger, more confident, and less vulnerable to manipulation. So watch closely for those signs of constant lying and deceit. Trust your instincts when something feels off. Don't let anyone rewrite your reality or make you doubt what you know to be true. Stand firm in your truth, and you'll create space for honesty and peace in your life, no matter who tries to lie their way through it. Another clear sign that an evil person is near you is their constant need to control everything and everyone around them. This is not just about making decisions or leading a group. It's about dominating others so that they feel powerful and important. Control, for these people, is a weapon they use to manipulate situations, shape outcomes, and keep people under their thumb. They want to be the one calling the shots, deciding what happens, and breaking the will of anyone who dares to oppose them. You might notice that this person always insists on having things their way, no matter what. They don't listen to other people's opinions or feelings. Instead, they bulldoze through conversations, meetings, or social gatherings to make sure their voice is the loudest and their agenda is the only one that matters. They may use threats, guilt, or intimidation to get compliance, making it clear that challenging them will come at a cost. This kind of behavior is exhausting for anyone around them because it leaves no room for healthy discussion or mutual respect. What makes this even more dangerous is how subtle their control tactics can be. Sometimes they won't openly demand obedience, but will instead manipulate behind the scenes, spreading rumors, playing people against each other, or using kindness as a disguise for control. They might pretend to care, only to use what you tell them against you later. This kind of covert control is harder to spot, but it's just as damaging because it breaks down your confidence and makes you doubt your own decisions. An evil person's need for control is often rooted in deep insecurity. They may feel powerless inside and so try to compensate by dominating others externally. This creates a vicious cycle. The more they control, the more insecure they become, which makes them want even more control. It's a never-ending chase for power that harms everyone caught in their orbit. People around them start to feel trapped, as if they're walking on eggshells, always trying to avoid triggering anger or disappointment. When someone is focused on control, they rarely take responsibility for their mistakes. If something goes wrong, it's never their fault. Instead, they blame others or make excuses to protect their image of being in charge and right. This unwillingness to be accountable creates chaos and confusion because it means problems are never solved, only pushed aside or hidden. People get frustrated and lose trust because they see the pattern but can't change it. In personal relationships, this controlling behavior can look like constant criticism, monitoring, or limiting what you do and who you talk to. They might insist you spend time only with certain people or pressure you to follow their rules. Over time, this breaks down your independence and makes you rely more on them for approval or guidance, which only strengthens their grip. This is a form of emotional imprisonment disguised as care or concern. At work, a controlling person may micromanage every task, refusing to delegate or trust others with responsibility. They see others' success as a threat and try to squash it before it grows. This creates a toxic environment where creativity and teamwork suffer because no one feels free to contribute or take initiative. People either quit or become disengaged, leaving the controller more isolated but still desperate to maintain control. Recognizing this behavior is important because it lets you protect yourself. When you see someone trying to control everything, you can start setting limits. You can say no to unreasonable demands, insist on your own opinions being heard, and refuse to be manipulated by guilt or threats. This might be uncomfortable at first, especially if the person is close to you, but it's necessary for your own well-being. It's also vital to build your confidence and trust your instincts. The need for control by an evil person often feeds on your uncertainty and fear. The more you believe in your own worth and judgment, the less power they have to dominate you. Surround yourself with people who respect your choices and support your independence. That support network is your shield against the control tactics. Sometimes stepping away from the relationship or situation altogether is the best option. You don't have to stay in an environment where your freedom and happiness are constantly under attack. Walking away isn't giving up. It's taking control of your own life and refusing to be a puppet in someone else's game. Remember, control is not love or care. Real relationships allow freedom, respect, and growth. When someone tries to control you, they're not acting out of kindness, but out of their own fear and selfishness. Seeing that clearly gives you the power to stop letting them run your life. So watch for those signs of control, whether it's loud demands or quiet manipulation, and don't be afraid to stand up. Your peace and freedom are worth fighting for. Once you take back control of yourself, no one else can hold you down or make you feel small. That's when you start winning back your life. Another unmistakable sign that an evil person is close to you is their tendency to lie constantly, no matter the situation. This isn't just the occasional fib or small white lie to avoid hurting someone's feelings. This is habitual, calculated dishonesty designed to manipulate, confuse, and control those around them. They don't just tell lies to cover up mistakes. Lying is a way of life for them, a tool to shape reality to their advantage. When someone lies like this, it's a red flag that they can't be trusted. The worst part is how cleverly they spin their falsehoods. They often mix truth with lies so skillfully that it's hard to tell what's real and what's made up. This blurs the lines and leaves people questioning their own judgment. They might deny things they clearly said or did, or tell completely different stories to different people. This behavior creates chaos and uncertainty in relationships because you never know when the ground beneath you might shift. Evil people lie to protect their image. They want others to see them in a certain way, powerful, successful, or innocent. And they will distort the truth to maintain that facade. If they feel exposed or vulnerable, they lie more aggressively to cover up whatever they fear will damage their reputation. This means that no matter how much evidence you have, they will deny it, twist it, or blame someone else. It's exhausting and frustrating because it makes accountability impossible. What makes this even more dangerous is the emotional damage lying causes. When you catch someone lying again and again, it breaks down your trust and creates distance. Trust is the foundation of any healthy relationship, and without it, connections crumble. Over time, you might start doubting not only the liar, but also your own instincts. You might wonder if you're imagining things or overreacting. This confusion is exactly what they want, to keep you off balance and easy to manipulate. Evil people who lie often do so with no remorse. They don't feel guilt or shame because their priority is their own gain, not honesty or fairness. This lack of conscience is a hallmark of manipulative and toxic behavior. They will lie about serious things or trivial matters without hesitation. If you confront them, they may become defensive, angry, or even turn the blame on you for not understanding or making things up. Their goal is to silence you and keep control over the narrative. The lies aren't just limited to personal relationships. In the workplace or social settings, these individuals spread false information, rumors, or exaggerations to sabotage others or elevate themselves. They might take credit for work they didn't do, blame colleagues for mistakes, or twist facts to make themselves look better. This behavior poisons the environment and divides people, while the liar stays above suspicion, at least for a while. Spotting a habitual liar can be tricky because their stories often sound believable and polished. They may use confident body language and emotional appeals to sell their lies. They might say things that pull at your heartstrings or promise things they never intend to deliver. Learning to recognize patterns, like contradictions in their stories or inconsistencies between their words and actions, is key to protecting yourself. When you realize someone close to you is lying to manipulate or control, it's crucial to set boundaries. Don't allow them to confuse or gaslight you into doubting what you know is true. Keep evidence if you can, whether it's messages, emails, or witnesses, so you have a clear record of reality. Stand firm in your truth and don't get dragged into their web of deception. It's also important to manage your expectations. You can't change someone who is deeply dishonest and unwilling to take responsibility. Trying to argue or convince them to stop lying may only lead to more frustration. Instead, focus on protecting your own mental and emotional health by limiting interactions or walking away if necessary. At the same time, guard your own honesty and integrity. When you are truthful and transparent, you build strong relationships and create an environment where lies cannot thrive. This also strengthens your confidence and helps you spot deception more easily. Remember, lying is a destructive force that chips away at trust, peace, and connection. An evil person uses lies like weapons to control and confuse, but you have the power to refuse to be their victim. By recognizing this behavior and refusing to accept it, you take back control over your life and your peace of mind. Trust your instincts when something feels off. Don't ignore the signs or make excuses for someone's dishonesty. Being alert to the truth behind the lies is your best defense against being hurt or manipulated. When you do that, you start reclaiming your power. And that's a victory no liar can take away. Another clear sign that an evil person is near you is their habit of constantly blaming others for their own problems. This kind of person never takes responsibility for their actions or mistakes. Instead, they point fingers at everyone else, making you or others around them feel guilty or at fault for things that are not your doing. This blame shifting is a classic tool used to avoid accountability and keep themselves safe from criticism or consequences. When you encounter someone who refuses to own up to their faults, it becomes very draining. Imagine dealing with someone who messes up, but rather than admitting it and trying to fix it, they immediately start yelling, accusing, or making excuses. This behavior is not only immature, but it's also manipulative. It's designed to confuse you and make you question your own perspective. You might start wondering if you really caused the problem or if you are being unfair. But in reality, the fault lies squarely with them. This blame game works because it shifts the focus away from their negative behavior and places it on others. When someone blames you for everything, they are trying to control the situation and avoid facing the truth. This creates tension and conflict in relationships because no matter what happens, they will never admit wrongdoing. Instead, they build walls between themselves and others by making accusations and playing the victim. Evil people use blame as a way to manipulate emotions. By making others feel responsible, they gain power and control. You might find yourself apologizing even when you didn't do anything wrong, just to keep the peace or avoid their anger. This imbalance is unhealthy because it gives the blamer a sense of superiority and dominance, while the other person feels confused, frustrated, and powerless. Another thing about people who blame others constantly is that they rarely learn or grow from their experiences. When you never take responsibility, you never see your mistakes clearly. This means you repeat the same harmful behaviors over and over. Their refusal to admit fault keeps them stuck in a cycle of negativity that affects everyone around them. You might notice patterns where the same kinds of problems arise repeatedly, but the person blaming never changes. Instead, they keep pointing at others as the problem. This blame culture also damages trust. When you know someone will always blame you, you stop being open and honest with them. You protect yourself by holding back your true feelings or avoiding difficult conversations. This creates distance and weakens any connection you might have. Healthy relationships thrive on mutual accountability and respect. But when blame dominates, those foundations crumble. It's important to recognize that blame isn't always direct. Sometimes evil people use subtle forms of blame, like sarcasm, guilt tripping, or passive-aggressive comments. They might say things like, "If you hadn't done that, I wouldn't be like this," or "You always make things so difficult." These remarks are designed to make you feel bad and take responsibility for their emotions or failures. This emotional manipulation is just as damaging as outright accusations. When you realize someone in your life uses blame as a weapon, it's crucial to protect yourself emotionally. Don't accept responsibility for things you didn't cause. Set clear boundaries and be firm about what behavior you will tolerate. It's okay to say, "I'm not responsible for that," or "Let's focus on solving the problem instead of blaming." This shows you won't be drawn into their toxic cycle. It also helps to stay calm and not react emotionally when they start blaming. Evil people feed off emotional reactions because it gives them more power. By staying composed, you deny them the satisfaction of controlling you. This doesn't mean you ignore problems. It means you approach them with clarity and a focus on solutions, not blame. If the blame game is happening at work or in social circles, documenting incidents can be useful. Keep track of facts, conversations, and examples where blame was unfairly placed on you or others. This evidence can help you stand your ground and show others what is really happening. It also protects you from being gaslighted or doubted. Sometimes people who blame constantly are dealing with their own insecurities or past hurts. While this might explain their behavior, it doesn't excuse it. Your responsibility is to protect your well-being, not to fix or save them. You can offer kindness and understanding, but only if it doesn't come at the cost of your peace. Remember, blame is a toxic habit that ruins relationships and stops growth. When you face someone who refuses to own their mistakes and pushes their faults onto you, recognize it for what it is: a sign of their inner weakness, not your failure. Don't get trapped in their drama or feel guilty for their shortcomings. Instead, focus on your own responsibility and integrity. Be accountable for your actions, but don't carry the weight of someone else's unwillingness to do the same. By doing this, You protect your peace, build healthier relationships, and show that you will not be a victim of blame shifting games. Standing strong against blame doesn't just help you. It sends a clear message to the person doing it. When they realize you won't fall for their tricks, they might stop trying to control or manipulate you. And if they don't, it's a sign that they don't deserve your time or energy. Your peace and self-respect are worth more than any blame game. One of the most telling signs that there is an evil person close to you is their ability to manipulate the truth to serve their own agenda. This kind of person doesn't just tell lies, they twist facts, distort reality, and rewrite stories to make themselves look good while making others appear at fault or weak. This manipulation is not accidental, it's deliberate and calculated. Their goal is to control how others perceive situations and people, often causing confusion and mistrust among those around them. When you interact with someone like this, you might notice that their version of events changes depending on who they are talking to. One day they will say one thing, and the next day the story sounds completely different. This inconsistency is designed to keep everyone off balance, unsure of what's really true. It's like they're playing a game where truth is flexible, and they are the only player who knows the rules. This leaves others guessing and doubting themselves, because if the facts keep changing, how can anyone trust what they say? This behavior is especially dangerous because it can create a toxic environment filled with suspicion and paranoia. Imagine working with someone who constantly changes the narrative to make you look bad or to hide their own mistakes, or being in a relationship where your partner's words never quite add up, leaving you feeling uncertain and anxious. The emotional toll of constantly trying to decipher truth from lies can wear down your confidence and peace of mind. Manipulating the truth isn't just about telling outright lies, it often involves exaggeration and omission. They might leave out important details that would change how a story is understood or exaggerate minor issues to create drama. This selective sharing of information is a powerful tool that shapes how others view a situation. By controlling the flow of information, the manipulator steers the emotions and reactions of those around them, often to their own advantage. This kind of person also uses manipulation to divide people. They might spread rumors or half-truths that pit friends, family members, or colleagues against each other. By playing both sides, they create chaos and conflict, positioning themselves as the only one who truly understands or can fix the problem. This divide and conquer tactic keeps them in control, because when people are fighting or suspicious of each other, they're less likely to question or challenge the manipulator's actions. One of the most subtle and harmful ways an evil person manipulates truth is through gaslighting. Gaslighting is a form of psychological abuse where the manipulator makes you doubt your own memories, perceptions, or sanity. They might deny things they said or did, accuse you of overreacting, or insist that you're imagining problems that don't exist. Over time, this constant questioning of reality can erode your self-trust and make you dependent on the manipulator for validation. This is one of the cruelest tools in their arsenal because it attacks your very sense of reality. Recognizing this kind of manipulation requires paying close attention to patterns of behavior. If you notice someone frequently changing their stories, contradicting themselves, or making you feel confused and uncertain, it's a red flag. Trust your instincts when something feels off. Often, your gut knows more than your mind wants to admit. It's also helpful to keep a clear record of important conversations or events. Writing things down or saving messages can protect you from being gaslighted or manipulated into doubting your own version of reality. When you have evidence, it's easier to stand firm and not be swayed by the manipulator's changing narratives. Dealing with a person who manipulates truth is challenging, but you have the power to protect yourself. Start by setting firm boundaries about what behavior you will accept. Make it clear that you expect honesty and consistency in your interactions. If the person continues to twist facts or lie, limit your engagement with them. Sometimes the best response is to walk away from relationships that are built on manipulation. It's important to stay calm and grounded when confronting manipulative behavior. Reacting with anger or frustration can give the manipulator more fuel to twist the story. Instead, respond with clarity and confidence. Say things like, "I remember the situation differently," or "I prefer to focus on facts, not opinions." This shows you are aware of their tactics and will not be easily deceived. Building a strong support system is also vital. Surround yourself with people who are trustworthy and honest, who will back you up and help you see the truth clearly. Having others who validate your experience can strengthen your confidence and reduce the manipulator's power over you. Remember, the ability to manipulate truth is a sign of deep insecurity and a need for control. While you cannot change such a person, you can control how much power they have over your life. By staying alert, documenting facts, setting boundaries, and seeking support, you protect yourself from their toxic influence. In the end, truth is your greatest weapon against manipulation. When you hold on to your reality and refuse to be swayed by distorted stories, you take back control of your life. Don't let anyone's lies or twisted truths shake your foundation. Stand firm, speak your truth, and let your integrity shine brighter than any deception thrown your way. This is how you stay free, peaceful, and strong even when evil tries to cloud your world.